Okay, good evening and welcome to Yeshiva YouTube. Iyun with Benzion, starting a new parak tonight, the 10th parak from Benzion Nedarim, Daf Samach Zayin, number 67. This is a yeshivish parak. People in yeshivas like to learn this parak. Um, in yeshivas, they like to learn this stuff that, the stuff that really doesn't apply at all. But technically, this could apply. I mean, it's a portion of the Torah. Of course, until now, in Masechet Nedarim, we talk about Hataras and Darim, or your Matir and Neder, which applies to anyone. The Torah had a convenience for a daughter or a wife. Women generally make the Dara more quickly than a man. They're more emotional than a man. They get angry more. They like to diet more, so they'll ask for more foods on themselves. So they made it easy for a daughter. Her father can be made for her net. They can block the net. You don't have to go to a beis din. Or a husband could be made for the Nedarim of his wife. That's a convenience the Torah gave you, and that's what this parak discusses. So the Gemara asks on Samach Zayin and Aleph, and then the Mishnah says, Ein Sarach Lomer Shaki Mechad. And the Mishnah basically says, the first Mishnah in the parak, that an Arusa, she's engaged, not married. So you need both the husband and the father to be made for, not the husband, the fiance, the fiance. I don't have to, there's fiance is the girl, the fiance is the man. The engaged man and the father have to be made for together. They both have to annul the nether. Say they don't want the nether. We'll talk about how you do it. It's like EF, I don't want it. They both have to do it. If one of them is silent and the other one is Mayfair, it doesn't help. They both have to actively say they don't want the nether. Because I'm going to explain, Mayfair, Hafara is different than Atara. Atara, you go to beis din, usually do a Pesach. Basically means, if I would have known, I didn't know certain knowledge when I made the nether, therefore I never meant to take the nether by myself. So the beis din just shows you a Pesach. They're not really doing anything. They're just being mater nether mikaro. They're showing you, adaiti the haki. If I would have known such a thing, I never would take the nether. So therefore, I didn't really make a nether because I didn't know something. So it's like nidre toast. I made a mistake. Charata is a little different. Charata, we talked about how beis din actually has to be present over there, and it has to be a beis din that is proficient in laws of Nedarim in order to actually revoke the nether. We talked about, just like hafara is mikanol haba. The nether existed. You're just annulling it. You're nullifying it right now. But for whatever time until now, it existed, and it'll always have existed. And hataras nedarim means the nether is gone completely. Havaras nedarim that block the nether, it doesn't exist, or maybe it's not even nullifying. We'll talk more about that. It's blocking the nether. The nether is still here, but it's not applicable to me, to the woman. Charata, you get rid of the nether, but it's mikano lahaba. Charata means, now I regret what I did. It wasn't that I lacked knowledge, it's that after seeing what my nether has caused, the damage has caused in the relationship with my wife or something like that. So I regret it, and you fully regret it. So the beis din has the koach to use that charata to block the nether or to annul the nether, to nullify the nether right now, not originally, because I only regretted it now. I didn't regret it originally. If I would have regretted it originally, that's a pesach, not a charata. So here we're talking about hafaras, which is the third way of getting rid of a nether, and it's not through a beis din, it's through the father or the husband. So the Mishnah says that the father and the husband have to do it together. It's from the psukim. If she's engaged, you need both the father and the husband to actually say, because hafara is you have to actually annul it, actively annul it. And the Mishnah ends off, certainly if the father annuls the nether and the husband is silent, and certainly if the father or one of them nullifies the nether, annuls the nether, and the other one says, I affirm the nether, right? You have three options. You can remain silent, and 24 hours pass, it's like you affirmed it. Or you could affirm it right now, or you could annul it, right? So certainly if one of them is Makayim, even the other person revokes it or annuls it, it doesn't make a difference. Certainly that's not going to be effective to get rid of the nether. So the Gemara says, the Gemara asks, towards the top of Samach Zayin and Aleph, why do you tell me? Why do you tell me one's Mekayim? Strichel mistin. The Gemara asks, they could go into Hefer Echem Mehem, the Kiyam Echel. Let's say one of them, the father, he knows the nether, he loves his daughter more. The husband, he's not so used to her, so he's angry at her. He's getting in a fight with his fiancée, and he's Mekayim, and he affirms the nether. The Chazar HaMakayim initial Kamas, and then they reconciliated the fiance and the fiance, and he was madir his akama. He comes to a beis din, basically go to a beis din and say, I didn't know certain facts when I was affirming the neder. So they're matir that hakama. They removed that hakama. It's like it never happened. The same might oki ha'akre. You might think whatever he was affirmed, he has now removed. That's why the Mishnah tells you that both of them have to be mayfair but bas achas. Now, what does this mean? So the Ran and the Ramban say as follows: that you might have thought the Havmi of the Gemara was, you might have thought, right, that when he is matir his akama, so now all he has to do, he undid his affirmation. Now all he has to do is go annul the neder, and we have the annulment of the father that was always he annulled in the first place. So together they join together. Kamashman, the Gemara is saying they have to do it with basachas. That means once the husband is makayim the neder, so therefore, and he goes to a basin to matir his akama. Not only does he have to go ahead and now annul the neder within 24 hours, but also the father a second time has to annul it a second time. They're a joint unit. They have to do it together, and therefore, once he's one who's makayim, so therefore you force the father to go and re-annul it again. The Rambam learns even more severe. He says you can never undo it. Once you're makayim the neder, that's what the Gemara means to say. You might think you're matir your akama, so therefore you can go annul the neder and join it together with the father's annulment. It will work. No, once someone is makayim the neder, even if he's matir his akama, no longer you already ruined it. You already ruined it. In this unique circumstance where you need both the father and the husband, you have ruined it. You have ruined it according to the Rambam, and you can never annul that neder. I have a more simplistic explanation. It's more makel than both of them. Mao the same the uki ha'akre. You might have thought when he's makayim it, right, and then he's matir his hakama. When I matir my hakama, right, I affirmed it, and I go to Beis Din. Oh, it was a mistake. I didn't want to affirm it. You might have thought what? When I matir that hakama, it's also like it's not just that I'm getting rid of the affirmation. Basically, when I'm saying I didn't want to affirm it, it's saying I don't want the neder, right? It's like, it's saying the opposite. I didn't want to affirm it, so obviously, what did I want to do? I wanted to know the neder. That's what we'd have assumed, right? My da'oki ha'akre, he was oker that affirmation completely to the point that it constitutes the hatara of his hakama constitutes an actual hafara. All he has to do is go again and annul the neder. That's the chiddush of the Gemara. The chiddush of the Gemara, the hafara is not simply like a Pesach, where basically we're just figuring out what the person's das, his mindset was on the neder. You might think hafara is like when a daughter or an engaged woman or a married woman, she makes a neder. It's basically al t'nai, al das her husband, right? She wants to satisfy the wishes of her father or her husband. So every time she makes a neder, she's kilu toleid. She makes it dependent on whether the father or the husband wants it. And when the husband says he's making it, so he wants the neder, he wants the neder to stick, and then he goes and recants and says that he doesn't want it. So it's magala his das, where he revealed his das. He didn't want the neder, right? He's matir his akama. He's just, right? That's what hafara is. It's just telling you that he didn't want it, right? He's revealing you his das. Kamash b'lan, no, that doesn't work like hafara. It's a convenience the Torah gives, and therefore it's a little more strict than just hatara. Hafara, you have to actually do something. So there's actually three stages, right? There's kiyum, and then there's silence. Silence, that's what Gemara is saying, right? Silence is something. It's something. It's not just, right? Because if he's makayim, he affirms it, and then he regrets affirming it, tries to get out of that, we might think, no, probably doesn't want the neder. No, there is such a middle ground over here. Hafara means you actively have to go and say, I do not want the neder. Just the matir your akama does not suffice as an annulment. It's not an annulment. You have to actually just put you back at zero. You went to +1, plus the neder. Then you went back to ground zero. And then you have to go -1 and repeal that neder, annul the neder. Hafara is an active choice that the father and the husband must make to get rid of the neder. Because as I explained, and we'll explain going forward, hafara is very different than atara. Hafara is a convenience the Torah gives, but it's really, basically, the neder still exists. It's just blocking the neder from taking effect on the woman. The neder, even, it's more than chara. Charata is you're mavatal, you're nullifying the neder. We'll talk about hafara is just to block the neder. The neder is still here, but you need actively to push it away. And who's going to push it away? The father and the husband, we learn from the Mishnah, have to push it away together. And according to me, all you have to do is just the husband go ahead and annul the neder, and the father does not have to go annul the neder a second time. That's what you gain by me. Kula, I usually give the kula's simplistic explanation, and I think kolak daiter adav. The Gemara says the the right explanation is the one that's more makel. I hope you enjoyed tonight's share. See you in the next one.